The next topic, which is the characteristics of database approach. Okay, what are the different characteristics of a database? Okay, here we are going to discuss 4 points. The first one is self-describing nature of the database system. Second one is insulation between programs, data and data abstraction. The third one is support of multiple views of the data. And the last one is sharing of the data and multi-user transaction processing. These are the 4 characteristics of the database system or a database approach. Okay, this is a very important topic. We have to study it clearly. Now let us discuss each topic in detail, each subdivision in detail. First one is self-describing nature of the database. From the name itself, it is clear, self-describing, which means that the database can tell about itself. Okay, database has the capability to explain about itself. That is known as self-describing nature. Okay, so what is self-describing nature that we are going to see in the next slide. Self-describing nature of the database. So database system contains not only the database itself but also a complete definition or description of the database structure and constraints. Okay, so database system is not only having the database or a data, it is also having the description of the database. Okay, what is description? We have already learned, we have already created a database called a student. Okay, so what is the description of the student database? What are the attributes available? Okay, roll number, name, marks. These are the attributes. What are the data types? Okay, what are the constraints that is going to be given? Okay, all those things are called the definition or the structure of the database. Okay, so the database can tell about itself. That is known as self-describing nature. Okay, the next point is where we are going to store this structure and definition and all. We'll be storing in a separate catalog. Okay, it is also known as DBMS catalog, or it is called metadata. We have already discussed. Okay, so information stored in the catalog is called metadata, and it describes the structure of the primary database. Okay, so all the structure, before creating a database, we have to create the structure of the database. So those structure and the definition and everything about that database will be stored in a separate area. It is called a DBMS catalog, or it is also called metadata. Okay, so this is the first characteristics of the database, which is self-describing nature of the database system. Okay, we can illustrate this concept using an example. See here, this is the structure of a database. Okay, so here we are creating 4 databases. First one is student, course, section, grade report, prerequisite. These are the 4 database or 4 tables we are going to create. Okay, that is given in a separate table. Okay, so these are the relation means table. In database management system, the relation is nothing but table name or the database name. Okay, so these are the 1 2 3 4 5 database we are going to create. In the next column, it is given how many columns or how many attributes attributes will be given. Okay, how many attributes are given for each of the table or each of the relation. The student relation we are going to have 4 columns or 4 attributes. In course table, we are going to have 4 columns or 4 attributes. In section table or section database, we are going to have 5 columns or 5 attributes. Grade report is having 3 attributes. Prerequisite is having 2 attributes. Okay, this is the list of database or list of tables we are going to create. Okay, now we are going to explain about the different columns. Okay, different columns we are going to describe. Okay, in student table, what all columns that we are going to have. See here, In student table is having, we have already told that student table is going to have 4 attributes. Okay, so in student table, so this third column is telling about the relation. Which relation is this? Okay, student table is going to have 4 columns. The first column is name and its data type is character. Next is student number, its data type is character. Okay, 4 characters it can accept. Class, third one is class is integer. Next is major is the, and its data type is major type. Okay, so student is over. Next is course also is having 4 attributes. Okay, so course we are having course name, character, course number, whatever it is. Okay, and it will be filled like this. So this is an example for a metadata. This is an example for a metadata or a catalog, database catalog. Clear? So this is the explanation for the first characteristics, which is self-describing nature of the database system. Okay, so we have completed this. Second one, insulation between programs and data abstraction. Okay, that is the second one, insulation between programs and data abstraction. So what is this? The structure of the database is stored in a DBMS catalog separately from the Access program. This property is called program data independence. So here we are going to describe about 2 terms. First one is program data independence, which means that we have already this concept we have already said previously, that is the structure of the database is already stored in a separate area or separate catalog, separate area called a DBMS catalog or metadata. So this metadata or this DBMS catalog is actually is independent of the programs, access programs. We have various programs to access the database. So this access programs have no connection with this DBMS catalog. They are working independently. Okay, so this property is called the program data independence. Okay, this program and this database structure does not have any connection. They are working independently. Clear? So this is called a program data independence. Now next concept. Okay, let us see an example of a program data independence. Suppose in a database, if we wish to add a new attribute, date of birth. So this is our student database. We have already seen in the previous slides, and here we are having only 3 columns. We wish to add one more column, that is date of birth. Okay, so this date of birth can be added without affecting the data. Okay, so this programmed data or this stored data will not be affected. Okay, clear? So we have in the here, see, look at here we have added one more attribute, and this by adding this one more attribute, there is no change in the data already stored. Okay, so this is known as program data independence. Clear? So this concept is called program data independence. Now next concept is program operational independence. Okay, now the users can define different operations on the data or the database. So we can have a user or a programmer can define different type of operations on the data. For example, he can update a data, or he can delete a data, or he can overwrite a data. Okay, or he can rename a data. Okay, user can perform different type of operations on the data. Okay, so these operations or this function, the function or the operation that the user is going to perform is having divided into 2 parts. Okay, or this means that an operation or a function on a data is being classified into 2 parts. The first one is interface and the second one is implementation. So interface, or it is also known as signature. The interface or signature of an operation includes the operation name, the data type of its arguments. Okay, so interface is telling about the operation, which operation we are going to do. Suppose we are going to delete a this value, 34. We are going to delete 34. Okay, so the operation name is delete, and the attribute or the argument is the value. Argument is the value we are going to delete, that is 34. Okay, that is the interface. So interface is actually the definition of the operation, which operation we are going to do and what is the argument. The second one is implementation or method. The implementation or method of the operation is specified separately and can be changed without affecting the interface. This implementation is the actual execution of this function. Okay, we have already defined the function, or the operation, and implementation is the actual execution of the function. So this actual execution or the implementation can be changed. It can be changed by any programmer without affecting the interface. Okay, so, for example, the interface they are going to delete. We already defined the delete operation. Delete the particular value. Okay, the argument we have already given. Okay, so how this delete must be performed is written in the implementation part. Okay, what the delete must perform must be written here. Okay, that can be changed by the programmer at any time. Okay, if he want to act the delete in a separate way or in another way, he can do so. That is the implementation. Okay, the summary of these 2 points is given here. The user application program can operate on the data by invoking these operations through their name and argument, regardless of how the operations are implemented. This means that the user does not require to know the implementation of the operation. He just need to mention the operation name as well as its arguments. Okay, the implementation is happening in the other side. He does not need to worry about how this implementation is going to happen. He just need to call the function. He does not need to know the implementation part that is hidden from the user. Okay, that is called data abstraction. Clear? So this is also known as program operation independence. Program operation independence. This terminology is known as program operation independence. Okay, so we have already seen program data independence, and now we are seeing program operation independence. Okay, so these 2 concepts, implementation of these 2 concepts, that is program operation independence and program data independence. Okay, these 2 characteristics are commonly called data abstraction. Clear? So this is called the term data abstraction. The summary is that the user need not be worrying about the implementation concepts. That implementation concept will be done by the programming part. He just need to mention the operation or mention the function, okay, or define the function, define the operation or the function to be performed. Okay, its implementation is done by the internal part. Okay, he does not need to worry about that. Clear? That is called a data abstraction. This is the second characteristics we have learned, which is insulation between programs and data abstraction. Clear? The third one is the support of multiple views of data. So what do you mean by a view of a data? We are having a huge database. Suppose we are having a huge database, a student database. Okay, the details storing your details storing your information in the college. Okay, it will be a huge database. From that we need to extract the details of S4 computer science students. Okay, so in college, the college will be maintaining complete the whole details of the students, okay, in a single database. From that we need to retrieve the details of S4 computer science. Okay, so those area or those information is called a view of a database. It is a perspective view of the database. A database typically has many users, each of whom may require different perspective or view of the database. A view may be a subset of the database, or it may contain virtual data that is derived from the database files but is not explicitly stored. Okay, So a huge database will be accessed by many people in the college. Okay, for example, your details, as for computer science student details, it will be accessed by your staff advisor. The staff advisor only need to know the student name as well as his marks. Okay, but what about the administration side? Administration side, they need to know your name as well as your fees paid. Okay, amount of fees paid. Clear? The same data is actually accessed by placement officer also. He needs the placement details, your name as well as placement details. So each of these users will be requiring different view or different perspective of the database. The same S4 CSC database, different perspective view is to be required for each and every user. For that, we use the view of a database. So view is nothing but a part of the large database or a subset of the database. It may contain virtual data. So this view is actually a virtual data. This is it is not actually stored in the permanently stored. It is just it will be temporarily stored. It is not permanently not be stored. It will be temporarily stored and it will show the information and it will be go away. It will be erased. Okay, so that is the concept of view. For example, here this is a student database. So from this student database, the staff advisor need to know the name of the students. Okay, so he will be acquiring only the name of the students. So this is the view 1. The view 1 is the name of the student. Okay, now second example. If suppose the HOD, head of the department, needs to know the student who scored the highest mark. Okay, from this table, which student scored the highest mark? Mr. Sargent scored the highest mark. So that details will be extracted here. This is another view. Okay, similarly, each user accessing this database will be requiring different data, different perspective of the data. Okay, that required data can be extracted in this way. Okay, the main concept is that this extracted data will not be stored permanently. This is just for viewing purpose. They will view the data and it will be discarded. Okay, because this is being extracted from this table. Extracted from this table, and they will view it in a window and they will revert it. If they want to store it, they can do it. Clear? This is the view of the data. This is the third characteristics, support of multiple views of the data. Clear? The same database, multiple views can be taken. Okay. The fourth one is the sharing of data and multi-user transaction processing. So this data or the database can be shared among different person or different people. Okay, concurrently we can do it. So that is what it said. DBMS must include concurrency control software. So what do you mean by this? What is the necessity of a concurrency control? For example, suppose this particular database, student database, is being accessed by HOD, staff advisor, principal, and so on. Suppose principal is trying to modify this data. At the same time, staff advisor is also trying to modify the data. Okay, so whose input will be modified, will be reflected here? That is based on this concurrency control. Okay, the first person who tried to modify the data will be modified. Okay, will be reflected here first. Okay, so which means that no two persons can modify the same data simultaneously. They will be given different time slot for modification. Okay, suppose principal and staff advisor both are trying to modify this value 21. The principal will be given the first priority for modification. Only after that the staff advisor will be doing it. Clear? So this is called concurrency control software or concurrency control mechanism. to ensure that several users trying to update the same data do so in a controlled manner so that the result of the updates is correct. Okay, so if several users are trying to update the same data, it must be done in a controlled manner. As I said, if the principal and staff advisor is trying to update this data, first priority will be given to maybe given to principal, after that staff advisor. So it must be done in a controlled manner. Okay. For example, when several reservation agents try to assign a seat on the airline flight, this is the example given in the textbook. Seat on an airline flight, the DBMS should ensure that each seat can be accessed only by one agent at a time and assignment to a passenger. Another very important example is this reservation, airline reservation. Okay, no two person can book the same seat. Okay, book the same seat. Only at a time, only one person can book a seat. Okay, the second person will be getting the another seat. Okay, no two person will be allotted the same seat. Okay, so this is the best example. The the airline or the railway reservation is the best example for this concurrency control. Okay, so the DBMS should ensure that the seats can be accessed only to one agent at a time. Okay, only one person will be given the booking confirmation. Okay, other person will be given another seat. If the seat is not available, it will be given as unavailable. Okay, this is the concept. Okay, so these are the 4 characteristics of a database system. We have explained it in a detailed manner. If they are asking it in a essay question, you have to explain it with a suitable example. So these are the 4 concepts: self-describing nature of the database system, insulation between programs and data abstraction, support of multiple views of data, and sharing of data, and multi-user transaction processing. Okay, thank you.